Hello everyone. Today I'll be providing an energy update on what's happening with the collective consciousness and Gaia. And the theme that's come through for me from my higher self and guides is that of a baptism by fire that is taking place for the collective consciousness. So right now, there is a wave of Christ Diamond light codes that has and is streaming in and is flooding the earth plane. And individuals are feeling the intensity of this wave and the energetics that are currently playing out for us within the collective consciousness. This wave of light that has and is streaming in right now is assisting with a very significant activation that is taking place beneath the Earth's surface in the Pacific Ocean, where I have labeled this on my Facebook page as the galactic activation. For the galactics are assisting or overseeing this activation. And this activation has to do with a very large amount of density that is being released and transmuted in this area, where a vortex is opening up in the Pacific Ocean, which will be assisting with releasing and transmuting, dissolving the density that has resided in this area for many, many generations, dating back to ancient civilizations. And this dense energetic has acted as resistance to the ascension of Gaia and the collective consciousness for many, many, many years. And this dense energetic is connected to all the wars that have been fought around the world for many, many generations. And it is connected to the patriarchy, the fear-based programming that individuals for many generations have bought into. The theme being an individual or a group of individuals having power over another group of individuals. So power over another. And this has been for many years installed in individuals as fear-based programming. So keeping individuals living in fear, thus under the illusion of a disconnection to one's divinity, a connection to one's higher self, guides, and the assistance. So this is being released right now and is playing out over the next few days. So this will be reflected if you keep an eye out on the Schumann resonance chart, and also what has happened already and will be happening with space weather conditions, and also keeping an eye out for what takes place within the ring of fire in that area in the Pacific Ocean, as this is what has come through for me, is there is great significance to the Pacific ring of fire with this activation. So this is what is playing out energetically for Gaia and the collective consciousness simultaneously. And then I'll talk about how this is and will be impacting us individually and collectively. So this is a great gift. So Gaia is releasing this density, okay? And when density is released through an activation, it restores and increases the flow of sacred energy for Gaia, assisting with the ascension of Gaia in the collective consciousness. And everything is connected. Everything that is happening is connected. And when density is released, with our connection to Gaia, we are working together. It assists us and makes it a lot easier for us to release density within our own physical vessels. It makes it a lot easier as we connect with Gaia's core frequency. We connect with the healing abilities Gaia has, the earth has, by grounding, by taking our shoes off, connecting with the earth. We tap into this frequency, and there are natural healing abilities and modalities that take place. So it is a lot easier right now. Yet the energy is very intense. We are feeling this wave that has come in, and now we are individually, as we have been for many years up until now, although this has accelerated in the year of 2020, and we are going through the uncomfortable purge stages. Now, many individuals ask me, how long does it last? Okay, well, the case is that this is a process with the waves of light, with the activations, and it really depends on the individual, on how much work they have done individually on themselves, okay, for how uncomfortable the purge stages are. I know for me, 2018, 2019, even before that, I went through really big purge stages. So a lot of the bigger stuff I released years dating back. So even though the frequencies have increased, the light flooding the earth plane, the activations have really kicked off and accelerated, a lot of my work has been done already. So it's not that intense for me right now. I do still feel it. I tap into the collective, as many of us do. All right, so I can tap in, and I do sometimes tap in to the density being released for the collective. I'm tapping into the fear of what's going on currently. All right, but as we know, we are sovereign. It is a choice that we can, with free will, choose to tap in, give energy to those things, or focus on the self and all the positivity that is taking place, even though it may be difficult to see with what's currently going on. When there is something dark taking place, there is something of equal magnitude in light taking place at the same time. So there is magic happening right now for the collective consciousness. So how long does it take? Well, there are a series of waves coming in all the time. There are many activations taking place. And when a wave usually comes in, okay, if you're empathic or highly sensitive, you may pick up energetically on the pre-wave coming in. Then the wave will last a few days, the impacts of the wave when it floods the earth plane. Then there are also a few days on top of that for integration of the new energetics, acclimating to the higher vibrational state of being, the frequencies coming in. So with each activation wave, people can feel the effects for up to a week. And depending on how much work you've done individually, and if you have or haven't, it doesn't matter. Nothing is labeled as right or wrong or behind or in front or anything like that. Everything is happening for an individual at the right pace. So usually people can feel the effects for a few days up to a week, depending on how much work you've done. As you go along, it gets easier and easier. So you may only, for half a day at some point, pick up on the frequencies and go through some of the contracted states of being, but mostly it will be pleasant. So that's where we're all moving to. So it gets easier and easier, but it doesn't end. Okay. But one day it will be when you tap into and embody 5D consciousness. It is heaven on earth. That's where we are all moving to. And it is an extremely euphoric and blissful experience overall. So when people say, when does the contracted states end? It will eventually end at some point in time, okay? Or at least, if you don't want to look at it as ending, it will be very, very easy, and it won't be a hindrance or a restriction in your life whatsoever. So right now, the greater whole, the collective consciousness, are going through a baptism by fire. And some of the themes connected to this are karmic patterns, okay, that have been playing out as repeated cycles for years within your reality experience, are now coming up to be released. So being brought up into your conscious awareness to identify whether you choose to continue playing in this repeated cycle, in these repeated cycles. Okay, and a lot of it has to do with karma, because there are agreements within your soul family group that you have agreed to play. So we, as you know, or if you don't know, we choose our family members' personality constructs before we come into a incarnation, when we play out this experience. Okay, and there are multiple life experiences that we play out, where individuals within the soul group play different roles. Okay, and it's all in the name of service for the individual's growth. So karmic patterns, where an individual may be an abuser and the other individual may be a victim in another parallel reality experience, as all realities exist simultaneously. We can call it a past life. In a past life, the roles were reversed. So the abuser-victim role was reversed. So now in this life, you may be playing out a scenario of a karmic pattern based on this. So all in service. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is right. If you want to label anything, it is perfect. And it's all to do with your expansion, with your elevation in consciousness. And if it's not understood, it will be understood in time. So karmic patterns playing out, but right now with the ascension of Gaia and the collective consciousness, it is coming up to be cleared for good, returning back to 0 point. So this is what is playing out right now. Okay, and we are seeing the reflection of this within our reality experiences. We are seeing it play out in all sorts of different ways, and it's all connected energetically. So depending on the amount of work you have done, okay, it will depend on the intensity of what you feel, okay, and it's being brought up to be released. So being brought up into our conscious awareness, okay, because the energy is ready to be released now. And then it is a choice with free will whether we choose to play in that scenario or not, that repeated cycle. Okay, because as we know, as adults, we may have chosen within our blueprint to go through some very, very intense experiences within our lives for growth. And then it was a part of a higher plan. But when we step into adulthood, we awaken, we know that we have the free will to choose the experience we prefer. So that's happening right now. So it's a choice. That's all it is whether we choose to play in something, that repeated cycle, that karmic pattern, the lessons we learned from that, the beautiful lessons, or not. So it's just the conscious direction, a choice. And thus, if we choose no longer to play in that and thank that karmic pattern, that repeated cycle for its service, but we no longer choose to play in it, so it is released and transmuted and done. And we get to experience something brand new on a whole nother level. As with the theme of baptism by fire and everything I'm speaking about right now, it is a leveling up, moving to the next level of consciousness. And I've spoken about this before, that the best way to go about this, if you choose to, is to treat every uncomfortable scenario experience as an initiation to the next level of perception. If you are going through extreme circumstances, or you are feeling the energetics, the intensity right now, know that you're leveling up. You're going through an acceleration kit, a transformation, which is another theme that is playing out now, which is always playing out. The themes being karmic patterns being brought up to be released, repeated cycles, initiation to the next level of perception, thus a rebirth. So a baptism by fire. So this is a huge gift for the gross expansion and elevation of your collective, of your state of being, to the new level of consciousness. So if you're going through an extremely abrupt experience right now energetically, and you're feeling the contracted states of being, and if you'd like to refer to the ascension symptoms in my last YouTube video, you can go and have a look at that, where I discuss and provide a tool that will assist you with navigating the intense energetics that we are currently going through. And I'll also mention the ascension symptoms that go along with this, that will be of assistance, so you can revert back to that video. So if you're going through an intense purge right now, the contracted state of being, know that you are going through a massive shift and transformation, and you are soon going to feel and experience the expansive state of being, and you will realize, there will be a self-realization that you have moved to the next level, and there is the sensations of euphoria, bliss, love, oneness, peace, happiness, a connection to one's own divinity. So this is the energy update of what's taking place right now. So individually, I'll ask you to just see with consciousness, okay, what is coming up for you right now, okay? And whatever comes up, know that it is time for, if you do not prefer to experience that experience, to say thank you with love, but no thank you, and it is released. And energetically, just to hang in there, feel it, to release it. So whatever comes up energetically, depression, anger, anxiety, extreme headaches, those ascension symptoms, or you feel like you're losing your mind and losing grip on reality, you're going crazy, is just to return to 0 point. Meditation is always key with anything. It makes everything a lot smoother. Meditation, and just be with the energetic, okay, with love, feeling it, to release it, and then with conscious direction, saying thank you, but no thank you. I no longer choose to experience that experience. So that is the energy update right now. A lot happening, like flooding the earth plane, activation within the Pacific Ring of Fire. So we will see the effects of this playing out within our reality experience, and we will see in 2020 there's been a big shakeup, obviously, and like I've said, the reason for this is when there is a shakeup internally, there is a shakeup externally, and we are seeing and have seen a big shakeup, obviously, with the lockdowns that are taking place. But if we choose to give a positive definition to something, okay, because there is really something positive in everything. If we choose to give it a positive definition, we will always receive a positive outcome from that experience. So one of the positive definitions that I have placed, and individuals are placing, is that during the lockdown, the social distancing and all these things going on in the world, it has given us a chance to go within in solitude, and not to be caught out in what we've been playing in the workspace and our social norm of what we get up and do every single day. So there's been a shake-up of that cycle of what we've been used to so long, and some of those mundane processes that we've been involved in. And it's forced us in solitude to go within and be with our emotions, our feelings, our thought processes, and to process this. So really, this is a huge acceleration kit for the ascension of your consciousness, the acclimation to the frequency of your preferred state of being. And with this solitude, these activations, the DNA activations taking place, the upgrades to our chakra energy centers, everything that is taking place, it's an opportunity to amplify our psychic senses, our clear senses, all our abilities, thus strengthening and opening the channels of communication with our higher selves and guides. And we become miracle workers in our reality experience. We become masters at manifesting what we would choose and prefer to experience. And the guidance is clear from our higher self and Gaia. It's tied into our intuition, how we feel about things, and our reality experience becomes a very blissful one, and miracles begin manifesting. So that's the energy update. I hope you guys are well out there, and if you're feeling the intensity, just hang in there. It's temporary. The lows, the contracted states, as I've discussed, are always temporary, and then boom, there's a big shift and you acclimate, and then the next wave comes in, and so on and so forth, and it gets easier and easier as you go along. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a fantastic week, and goodbye for now.